Well, hello there, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. And I hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are. I am Floyd, Fearless Leader Holder, and welcome to today's lecture video. I hope you all are having a good day wherever it is you are. Let me go through and bring in the good old fashioned lecture slides. A few things to keep in mind as we get to that particular point. The lecture slides and lecture video that you see here was created in August of 2022. If you're seeing this a year from now, I might have changed things, and the lecture slides you would have seen in class. So just kind of be considerate of that when you're going through and working to get information. The core material should still be there. Now, specifically, this is Introduction to Geography, Day 2, Lecture Video 2, however it is you want to go back and consider it. In the last video, we took a look at the who, the how, who, the what, the where, the when, the why of the practice of geography. Today, we're going to start looking at that sixth question, the how. Now, in general, we're going to be like Mr. Miyagi working with young grasshopper, and we tell you to focus. Now, in geography, when we choose to focus on one of the five key themes of geography. Now, a theme is a topic of discourse or discussion or an idea or concept that is central to a story. Start thinking about the things that make up your day. What's the overarching theme to what's happening? Now, if you guys have actually had me in class, you know I like to dress up for Halloween. In the past, I've gone as Pharaoh. Other times, I've gone as Bart Simpson, which I transitioned later in the day to Winnie the Pooh. I've also gone as Luigi as a Mario Kart racer, and I think my personal favorite, Notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Lots of options there, guys. The holiday is Halloween. The theme indicates how your day's gonna go, what's happening, where is it going, things of that general nature. Now, for geographic theme number one, start thinking about what this little flag pin is doing. Specifically, it's indicating a location. Therefore, theme number one is location. Now, if you're a geographer studying the theme of location, the location question your research and work is focusing it on is where is it? Where are things located? Where are things happening? Where? That's the geography form of Ricola. Where? Now, for location type number one, this woman is located in downtown Amsterdam. But where exactly is she located in downtown Amsterdam? This is better known as relative location. You over here look at location type number two. It's indicating that you are now welcome to 44 degrees, 55 minutes, 37 seconds north, negative 85 degrees or 85 degrees, 1 minute, 40 seconds west. This is known as absolute location because if you go through and go to this point, you will be located at a very, very specific point on the map. In the same way that the township and range system that you saw in the past also goes through and clearly indicates where exactly you are on a particular spot in the world. Now, the main difference is that absolute has specific geographic coordinates. Orlando, Florida is located at 28 degrees north, 81 degrees west, right here on the map. Now, for geographic theme number two, let's go to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Geographic theme number two is place. Now, the place question is, what is it like there? Why is Disneyland the happiest place on earth? What's there making you consider like, Wow. Like Texas, it's a whole other country. Now, for place attribute number one, start thinking about your physical features of the earth. Start thinking about how standing on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean gives you a whole new perspective on life, particularly if that perspective involves the cliff dropping out from beneath you. On the other hand, you have your human features of the earth. We have a very flat area, which then allowed us to go through and construct buildings and other things in a nice geographic, a nice coordinate or not the right grid pattern. And then take a look at how here on the left, the river running through this particular area has created a series of very interesting buildings that line the river place. In short, I want you guys to click on the text here in the video, which takes you to a music video or really more of a scene from a movie called Ralph Breaks the Net, called A Place Called Slaughter Race. And look at the wording, the imagery that they use to describe what is Slaughter Race. Now, for geographic theme number three, let's hit the slopes. Let's take a look at the patterns in the trees and the things that you can kind of go back and see up there on top of the map. Apparently, we've gone through and decided that if we strap wooden planks to our feet and go downhill on snow, you can have a whole lot of fun. Am I right, people? Am I right? Yeah! So this is called human environmental interaction. The interaction question here, what is the relationship between man and nature there? Is it so hot that man just doesn't live there? Or is the temperature so right that everyone wants to be there? The human environmental interaction main idea is man using the environment to his advantage to survive. Apparently, if you have a gun and a bunch of elk or deer or whatever that animal is there in the background, you will be able to eat. Assuming you know how to kill the animal, drag the animal home, and cut the animal up to make sure you don't eat anything you're not supposed to eat. Now, here a little bit more closer to home, we look at the Houston flooding example. What we take a look at over here is, I believe, Bray's Bayou, the Memorial Parkway, which is kind of a nice little local expedited roadway through the probably the western portion of the inner loop. But the main thing you want to take a look at was what's running through the middle of it. Here on the top right is the bayou. Here on the top left is the bayou. The same bayou you're seeing over here is located here on located on this image behind uh, the trees. This is what the same area looks like after severe flooding, specifically Hurricane Harvey from, I believe, way back in like 2017. The main thing you got to remember is people know Houston floods. So we decided that if we just build roads where it's most likely to flood, we don't have to go back and repair a bunch of buildings. We just got to shut down the road, wait for the flooding to subside, and you're pretty good to go. Now, for geographic thing number four, take a look at what this woman is doing. On the start, she's on the right, and at the end, she's on the left. Apparently, she's moving. Accordingly, geographic theme number four is movement. The movement question is, how are people and places connected? What routes exist? What methods of transportation exist that allow you to get from point A to point B? Now, regarding how we can kind of go back and look at this from movement type number one, here's my dog Bart and I hiking up and down the Appalachian Trail near Boone, North Carolina on the Blue Ridge Parkway, taking in the sights. Here I am about to leave on a jet plane on Egypt Air, flying from Aswan to Abu Simbel Temple to check in the sights. And a few days later, we actually went on a huge hot air balloon ride over the Valley of the Kings. Truly intrepid. Now, in Alaska, I went on the Alaskan Railroad from Anchorage. Uh, I'm forgetting to where exactly it was I went, but it was August and it was a bit cold. So keep that in mind. Now, here I am with my dog Bart in the car driving down the road. I love it when he puts his head on my shoulder. It really means he loves me and misses me. And I think it's pretty cool. Beyond that, here I am back in Egypt, riding a horseback through a small village. And over by the pyramids, we got to go through and ride camels. Ride the camel if you have the opportunity. In short, I'm moving through the movement of animals. Beyond that, up in Alaska, I got to go on a dog sled ride. Uh, it's a really, really cool thing to kind of go back and do and experience. Beyond that, on my wife and I's fourth date, we went on a 3 week Mediterranean cruise, which was really, really quite cool. On the top left is our ship, the Koningsdam, and on the bottom right is we're on a little boat going through the Corinth Canal. I'm going to toss in 7B, I guess. The bridge you see over here, you can actually go bungee jumping off of, which is pretty cool. Now, back in Boone, North Carolina, this is me at the end of a mountain coaster going down the hillside that you see here in the background. And over in Russia, back in summer 2021, my wife and I went for a big kayaking trip. And at the end, they had a really cool zip line you could go back and do, which is really quite cool. There's a lot of mountain villagers that live on both sides of valleys, and they use a series of zip lines to get themselves and cargo back and forth. They'll typically put little kids into a wheat sack or flour sack, tie it up, and then send them down for them to get to one side of the other. And here, most recently, my wife and I went on a cruise, and I'm going to call this one swalking because I'm technically walking under the ocean, so it's like I'm swimming, but I'm not. So we're going to go with swalking on this. I'm coining that term now. Now, not only is the ways that you can move important, also looking at the why is a big thing to consider here under this theme. These are the reasons people moved in 2012. Housing, jobs, families, any number of things should really kind of go back and be considered. The why, the backstory is also very, very important. For example, who are these people and why did they move? If you remember that they were the pilgrims and left Europe due to religious persecution, you would be correct. Basically, the pilgrims left the Netherlands and Egypt to start a new life in the New World to escape religious persecution of their beliefs, which is kind of a cool thing. Now, last but certainly not least, for theme number 5, we have regions. Here's a map of the U.S. divided in, or subdivided, I guess I should say, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different prominent regions of the world, of the country, I guess I should say. Now, the region question is, where are similarities found? How is Disney in Orlando different than Universal Studios or SeaWorld in Orlando? Where are the similarities found here? Where are things different over there? Now, regions are an area of the world that is different or separate from another area or other areas in some way. Accordingly, regions are designed, like the hat you see here, to sort out the world. If you say South Asia or India, you get a certain idea of what it looks like there. If you say North Africa, you get a general idea. You say Southern Africa, you get a different idea. Latin America versus North America, Europe versus East Asia. We're sorting things out here. Now, the issue is too many differences in a region is a bad thing. You get more regions, you get conflict within a region, any number of things. Now, if you go out there and look at the world, there are different various types of general regions you could come across. For example, region type number one here is known as a political region. This little quadrupoint that you see over here is the border between Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. If you take a click on the video here, it answers the question, what is Europe? The answer could be quite surprising. Now, over here, region type number two is physical regions. The Great Plains, the Gulf Plain, the Rocky Mountains, the Sierra Nevadas, the mountains, Intermountains, I guess I should say, the Atlantic Plain, the Appalachian Mountains, the Canadian Shield, and so much more. So political, physical, human, in this case, linguistic regions, if you want to be more specific, Indo-European, Niger-Congo, Sino-Tibetan, Haponic, Altaic, Dravidian, Afro-Asiatic, you name it. Things are happening out there. Over here are different climate regions. Depending on where exactly it is you live, certain plants are better for certain places, whereas others aren't good. If you live up here in a northern climate, you have to have different plants unless you have a greenhouse set up to have plants there versus what's happening down over here. And last but not least, your perceptional region. There's no such place as Aggie country, but if you get anywhere near College Station, uh, things are going to be a little bit different for you over there. The color burnt orange is not really socially acceptable. So don't wear it. Go Aggies. Now, put the themes together. You're trying to go back and remember them. Remember the phrase Mr. Lip. Movement, region, location, interaction, and place. Physical and human features, hunting and farming, position, unifying characteristics, and things simply moving in and around outside of the world and your place in it. Now, for today's final slide, we have a two-sided exercise. The statement is movement is the best theme to discuss. Ooh. Maybe depending what you mean by best could be one thing versus another. In general, I do kind of agree with this in the sense it's the best that you're looking at roots. It's giving you more things you can kind of go back and map out over an area. It emphasizes the area a little bit more. There's different reasons. There's more of a backstory to it. But uh, place is also kind of cool. So I'm going to agree, but agree for different reasons than just simply kind of going back and agreeing. Thanks for being here, guys. I hope you enjoy the video. Have a great one, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.